Welcome to Positive Vibes Only, the podcast dedicated to uplifting your spirits and infusing your life with positivity. I'm your host, Mike Lanham, and together we'll explore the power of optimism, gratitude, and kindness in creating a brighter, more fulfilling existence. Hello guys, and welcome to another episode 4 of Positive Vibes Only with your host, me, your boy Mike Lanham. Now today, we are going to dive into goals and setting your goals and reaching your goals and planning your goals and just having a goal, period. Because you can't start nothing if you don't have a goal. It all starts with the goal, and as they say, it all starts with a thought, I should say. But let me tell you a little story about a goal that I have myself, which recently just happened. So, this podcast, a long time ago, 2 years ago, I said, okay, I'm going to start a podcast. I started downloading apps on my phone. You know, of course, you got to pay for those. I started looking around, Googling, trying to figure out, okay, well, how am I going to be able to start a podcast? This was a goal of mine. I have many goals, but I just want to share this goal with you guys. Just to let you know that a goal doesn't have to be anything major. It can be anything small. It can be whatever goal that you want your goals to be. But my goal was to start a podcast. And I've already created a YouTube channel. I've been doing videos when I was on the road. Even before I got on the road, I was doing videos, so I was already making videos and kind of, I don't know, I wasn't thinking of a podcast at the time. But so a couple of months back, we ended up getting this equipment. My their mom was going to start a podcast, and she got the equipment and everything, and life got in the way. So, this equipment just been sitting there. So I said, okay, God gave me the opportunity. He's given me all the tools that I need. I said I wanted to start a podcast, and I have all these tools right in front of me, not even using them, not even thinking of starting a podcast. I got my YouTube. I know how to, make the videos, know how to edit, make content. Okay, so, I have this machine, the Mayano, hope I'm saying it right, Mona, whatever it's called. I got this podcast machine. And I'm like, okay, let me test it out. Let me figure it out. Now, if you've listened or seen my last few episodes, I started with my iPhone. That was my iPhone that I was using. And believe it or not, the mic was not even on. See, I got the whole setup. I tried to learn how to use this podcast system. Had the whole mic set up, everything. So this whole time, I've been thinking that I've been talking through the mic. But believe it or not, guys, the mic was never even on. And I didn't realize it until I started messing with it some more. And that just shows, when you have a goal, you got to start somewhere. And then it just builds from there. So, I learned how to actually talk through the mic. Right now I'm talking through the mic. It's actually on. It's working. My phone, I had to find another way to record just so I can make a video. That was my goal, to make a video and record without using my phone. That was the next step. Come to find out, I've had this editing program that I've been using to make my YouTube videos and whatnot. I've had this program for like 5 or 6 years, which is crazy. And I just saw the option to record a live video. Record a video. I'm gonna give myself an applause for that. And this is crazy. These are sound effects. I know you guys can hear that. Now you can hear it. My very first podcast video, I was hitting sound effects and everything. I was hitting the effects and you couldn't hear nothing. And I didn't realize that until after, I made the video, I made the podcast or whatnot. But I'm like, why is this not working? This is so tough. See, when you have goals, you go through these battles. You go through these speed bumps. You go through trials and tribulations. Like you go through a lot. Um, until you reach your goal, but you're supposed to go through a lot. You're supposed to keep learning as you go. My goal, my full goal when it comes to this podcast is to have an actual studio. As you can see, I am in my basement, but I love my basement. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. This is it for now. I'm gonna do the job. I'm gonna make it happen no matter where I'm at. But eventually, I want to have a whole studio. I want to be able to walk into my studio. Everything is set up, new camera, new microphone. I mean, everything is just set up perfectly. And eventually, I will get there. I will get there. I don't hope. I don't wish, but I will get there. See, when it comes to goals, you you can't quit. Dreamers do not quit. And I think I did a post about this the other day, or made a post. If you follow me on Instagram at Mike Lana, I did make a post about this. I believe it was yesterday. But dreamers do not quit. If you have a dream, you keep dreaming and you fulfill that dream. Oh, just spilled coffee on me. But long story short, I'm in a different setup right now. Um, totally different setup. I'm using my laptop. I got the camera on. I got the recording. Got the lighting. Like it's crazy. So this is the next step. But anyway, let's dive into this podcast. Goals. I've already set it up for you guys. So that was just my goal that I have, and I want you guys, as you're listening, I want you guys to follow me, and as you're watching on YouTube this video, I want you to follow my progress, follow my journey. You'll see where I'm at, where I'm going, what I came from, because it's going to go up from here. It's only up from here, and I just want to thank you all, thank you listeners, thank everybody for listening to this podcast. Um, like I said, I'm doing this as a as a as a outlet for myself. It's I'm not really concerned about the analytics right now. Right now, I just want to speak my mind. I want to motivate people. I want to put positivity in the air. I want to spread it, even if I just reach one person, because we all have our bad days, and I want that one person to listen to this podcast and say, okay, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. So let's dive into it. Crushing your goals. Crushing your goals. And as you just heard in from my little story, like I said, that's my goal. We all have our goals, and it doesn't have to be nothing big. It could be anything you want. Honestly, there's no rules to making a goal. Whether it's reading 2 books a week, whether it's exercising, losing weight, your goal is to start your own podcast, start your own YouTube channel. Uh, I don't know, buy a house, get financially free. Anything can be your goal, but you got to start somewhere. And your goals can be achievable. They can be achievable. Anybody can achieve your goals. But let's start with the first thing. You got to understand your goals. Understanding your goals. Why are you setting this goal? Is it for personal reasons? Is it for professional reasons? Um, you, what is the point of your goal? You just can't just say you want to do something. You have to dig deeper. When it comes to goals, you definitely have to dig deeper and figure out what that why are you achieving that goal, and you have to understand it. Is it a short-term goal? Is it a long-term goal? Is it, like I said before, is it professional? Is it personal? uh, and you have to write this stuff down. You have to be very specific, and um, you have to have sort of like a time management type thing going on. You have to have timing on it, when you're going to complete it, when you're going to start it. Um, it's a business. How business works. When you write out a business plan, you start off with your vision. What do you want to achieve? You go through the steps of how do you want to achieve that business, the steps that you're going to take to achieve that business, how are you going to keep that business going. It's a business plan. So you're writing a business plan for yourself on these goals that you want to achieve. Um, Once you start understanding your goals, just know there's going to be obstacles. And I've just spoke on that. There's going to be obstacles. Me setting up this podcast, I'm still going through obstacles. Believe it or not, like I said, I'm always going to be real with you guys. I have my camera on a paint can right now. I literally have my camera on a paint can. Hey, I know you guys. I know you guys are laughing. I know you guys are laughing, but hey, you gotta start somewhere. I'm on a paint can right now, but it's set up just nice to where I can get my picture. I'm loving it. I mean, it is what it is. That's an obstacle right now that I'm going through until I get a way to set up this camera on a tripod, because it's not one of those. It's like a sort of like a flat camera, just clips on your keyboard, not your keyboard, your laptop. So it's kind of hard to put it up somewhere. So I have to set it up on a flat surface in order for it to work. But we all go through our obstacles. And these are the things we go through. I'm just going to get straight to it. Procrastination. You already know. We all procrastinate. You have a goal. You want to start a business, but you go through all of these ideas and you start changing your ideas. You go from one idea to another. You start procrastinating, and it just doesn't go anywhere. Like, it goes from one day you want to start, and you're saying, okay, I'm going to start this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Then the next day you say the same thing. Something may get in the way, an obstacle, which leads to that procrastination. A lot of people have fear of failure. So when and it happens, we all, when you're getting into something new and you're scared to jump out there because you start thinking of all this stuff, your inner voice. You start saying that you can't do it. You start doubting yourself. So that doubt, that fear of failure, all of that leads to that procrastination, and then you put it off and you put it off. And the one thing that I don't like are excuses. I've made excuses myself. I'm not perfect, but when you get to a point in your life when you're on that train, like it feels like you're on a train and you're going like 100 miles an hour. You're doing this. Yeah, like you personally are doing it, and success is going to come out of it. You're happy with what you're doing. And then you speak to somebody else, they have a goal or whatever, and you tell them, like, hey, you could do this, just keep going and going. And you have those folks that just throw them excuses. They just, bam, just hit you with excuses. It's like a punch in the face. Like, hey, you can do this, bam. Nah, but I got this going on. But nah, I mean, if you make time in the day, you can do this. Nah, but I just don't have enough time. I just can't. I don't have the money. I gotta do this. I gotta do this, that, and it's just more important. So when I talk to people like that, it's like they put their dreams to the side, they put their goals to the side, and they just keep on procrastinating. What you have to do is change your mindset. What I tell these folks, change your mindset. That's the only way this is going to work. It's all in the mind. People that hang around me, people that know, when they speak about different issues or whatever, depending on the issue, I'm always, for the most part, going to say, it's just a mind thing. It's just a mind thing. Whether that's smoking. I used to smoke a lot. I'm talking like 10 packs a day type thing. I'm just joking. No, not 10 packs a day. But I used to smoke a lot. And one time I had stopped cold turkey. They say it's impossible. You can't stop cold turkey. You just can't stop. It's hard. And so I had this time in my life. It was real stressful. I was smoking, and then one day I just said, okay, I could do this. Uh, my son was young. He had breathing issues. So I said, I have to do this not only for my son, but I have to do this for myself. And so, as hard as people said it was going to be, yeah, they say you stop things when you just have to stop. But when I didn't really have to stop, I chose to stop. It was a mindset. I said, okay, I'm just gonna stop smoking. I'm just gonna stop cold turkey. It's a mind thing, and I did. I stopped smoking for, I think like for 5 or 6 years. Didn't smoke a cigarette. Couldn't stand the smell. And that's the same with you. So basically, it's a mind thing. If you feel like you can't start your business, your goal, you can't lose weight, you can't find friends, or whatever the case might be, it's all a mind thing. Your mind is stopping you from doing it, which leads to the procrastination and the feel of failure. So your mind is stopping you from doing these goals. And at this point, I'm tired of excuses. I am not gonna lie. I'm not, unless it gotta be a life ending type excuse. Like, but when you hear about people that's trying to start things, they throw these excuses at you. And then you ask them a month later, and they throw more excuses at you. They keep hitting you. You be like, well, why you ain't started yet? They keep hitting you. And I've been through that myself. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I didn't get my PhD in setting goals. So, you know, I know from just doing the stuff that I'm doing, it took me a while to start. I was holding myself back. It took me a while just to get in front of the camera. As I talked about in my last podcast, we have our insecurities in the things that we do. Um, but it took me a while just to even get started. And it takes everybody a while to get started. But I'm here to tell you that once you grow that mindset of self confidence and stop thinking about what other people are doing, or if you could do the same thing, or how people are going to look at you, forget other people. Forget other people. People don't matter at this point. When you're trying to set a goal, you have to push everybody out the way. You got to put yourself in a bubble. Nobody's in that bubble but yourself. That's the only way, because you don't want to have distractions. You don't want to deal with how people are going to react. None of that. You just got to be yourself, create your goal, and just do it. Just do it. I had a discussion with my daughter the other day. She's into the social media, and we had a little debate. Not, I wouldn't say a debate, but we had a little conversation when it comes to trends. And so she says, if you follow the trend, you make money. Success is good. That's if that's what happens. You just follow the trend. And I disagree, because I'm actually doing it. That's why I disagree. It's okay to follow the trend, but if you're trying to create a profile, trying to create a business, trying to create a something, whether it be a YouTube channel or a podcast, you got to be yourself. You just got to be yourself. That's the only way. If you're not being yourself, let's say that trend that you're following falls off, then what are you going to do? You're going to just try to pick up the next trend, and then what if you can't even do that trend even good? You can't even do the trend right. You mess it all up. People ain't going to watch you. And you're trying to do what the other folks do, but you can't even do it that well. So it's always good to just be yourself. And that's why I say, when you're creating your goals, you can't think about what other people are doing. You can't. That's a total distraction right there. And that you have to overcome that obstacle. So when it comes to overcoming these obstacles, procrastination, fear of failure, and forget what other people are thinking and forget what other people are doing. You got to do what you like and you got to love doing it and you just got to keep doing it. And, you know, that's the obstacles that you go through. And when you get to that point where you're doing what you want to do and you're, how can I say, you're in your bubble by yourself, then you create an action plan. Okay, I want to achieve this goal. How am I going to create this action plan? And as I said, you got to create a deadline. First, you got to figure out what your goal is. Once you figure out what your goal is, then you create that action plan. How are you going to get to that goal? What are you going to do to get to that goal? The step that you're going to take. We just spoke about obstacles. You have to figure out what obstacles that you might go through that's going to hinder you, or you want to be prepared mentally. So when them obstacles come, you're good to go. You're straightforward. You're headed down the right direction. And then, as I say, with the action plan, you want to track your progress. You want to track your progress. Like as I said, I started off with my phone making a podcast. Microphone was not even working. My microphone was not working at all. I thought it was working. I'm sitting here, I can hear myself through my headset. But on the recording, it wasn't recording through the video. It was recording through my phone. Even though it did sound good, I'm not going to lie. I mean, if you listen to my other podcasts, they sound like pretty good. You would never thought. So this is the first time I'm doing a podcast where the microphone is actually working. That's my milestone. Now I'm on my other milestone to where now I have my camera, I got the mic working, I got a totally different setup, and we're gonna see how this works. My next milestone, to have something to hold this camera up, maybe a better camera. I don't know, one of these 4K cameras, maybe a different program on the computer, something. I gotta keep advancing. Got to keep advancing. And that's my goal. That's my milestone. And then my next milestone after that is to keep building and keep going and going until eventually, like I said, I want a whole studio. I want everything working the way I want it to work without trying to figure it all out. And I know I have to go through these obstacles and I have to do what I got to do, but it's going to happen. And that's a goal of mine. And that can be a goal of yours. You have to go through whatever goal you have to go through the obstacles and you have to create these milestones. And like I said, it's a business plan. Not a lot of people are ready for business plans. They don't know how to write a business plan. They don't want to take that effort. A lot of people do not even want to go through the effort of even creating anything. A lot of people want the easy way out, which brings me back to the whole trend scenario. That's the easy way out to me. You see the new dance on TikTok. You go in your room, you perfect the dance, and then you record yourself. Bam. But you got to think about it. The person that actually created the dance they wasn't following anybody else. They wasn't looking at other people. They wasn't following no trend. They just created a dance and it went viral. That person right there, that's the person that writes the business plan, that goes through the milestone, goes through the obstacles when it comes to person. That's who you should be. Not a follower, but a leader in a sense. Create that action plan and you got to go with it. And then you got to stay motivated. Got to stay motivated. Hey, I'm here to motivate you. If you got to listen to my podcast, listen to my podcast and it will motivate you. Hopefully it'll motivate you. I want it to motivate you. Hey, it motivates myself. A lot of times when we talk out loud, we listen to ourselves. It's like that third voice. There's nothing more satisfying than your body and your mind, hearing it in your mind, what you want to do and your plans, and then saying it out loud. If you have a goal, speak it out loud, write it down, repeat, repeat, repeat. I'm reading this book. I know a lot of you have heard of it. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's taken me forever to read this book. I was supposed to read this whole book 3-4 years ago. I started it and then I put it down. But now I'm into it. And the one thing this book talks about, I'm holding in front of the screen here so y'all can see it. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a very good book. And the one thing it says is if you have a goal, you write that goal down and you say it to yourself 3-4 times a day. Repeat, repeat. When you repeat your goal every day, what's going to happen is your brain is going to concentrate on that goal. You see yourself at the end where you're trying to be, whether that's to have a bunch of money in the bank or the business is set up and everything is ready to go. You keep saying that to yourself every day. My business is going to make it. My business is going to work. I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to do this. Every morning you wake up, every night before you go to sleep. My business is booming. You have to talk as if your business is already running. Example. I got to talk as if my podcast is the top podcast out there. I got the greatest podcast in the world. My podcast is doing it. That pumps me up when I say that. Despite anything else, hey, I have a great podcast. I have people that are going to listen to it. And I have people that's going to get positive energy, positive vibes from what it is that I'm saying. So I'm going to say that every morning and every night before I go to sleep. Every morning, every night. You should do that for every goal that you have. Every goal. Any goal that you have. But you got to stay motivated. There's a lot of people out there that's achieved remarkable success by going through the challenges. They've stayed committed. You know, you hear the stories of some of these actors and actresses or whatever. They used to live in their car. Tyler Perry, for an example, he used to live in his car. Now look at where he's at. When it comes to sports, I mean, that's the biggest thing. You have all these players that want to be in the NFL. They want to be in the NBA. There are a million people that wants to be in there. So you have to be in the front of all these dudes, all these girls, you have to be in front of all these people just to make it to the professional league. You have to stand out, which means you're going to have to work harder. You're going to have to work smarter. You're going to have to push yourself. You're going to have to be elite. You got to work for it. Ain't nobody just going to say, oh, you can bounce a ball so you can play on my team. Oh, you know how to catch a football? Oh, yeah, cool. You can be on my team. We all know how to catch a football. But it's those little things that they look for that's going to let them know, hey, he could play for my team. Not only can he catch the ball, but he's athletic. He's built. He's shaped. He's healthy. He's going to last a long time in this league. That's the truth. I mean, that's pretty much what's going on. You got to stay motivated. Once you're motivated, then you just start pursuing. Just start pursuing your goals. Adjust, adapt. You know, the biggest thing is adapting. Sticking with my story with this podcast. At first, you know, like I said, I'm in the basement, so I have to adapt to this environment that I'm in right now. Beforehand, I was up in my dining room. But because of the noise and I didn't want to be interrupted, I said, okay, well, let me set this up in the basement. And it's been working out pretty good. So I'm adapting to it. When you're setting your goals and you're going through these obstacles, you have to adapt, because the biggest thing about when you're going through these obstacles is you're always learning something new. You're always, your brain is learning more and more about this goal that you're trying to achieve, and you're doing different things, you're meeting different people, Your environment is changed, your attitude is changing, everything is changing. So you have to adapt. Because if you don't adapt, what's going to happen is you'll go back into those ways of procrastinating. You're going to get into a new situation, and then bam, next thing you know, the fear of failure is going to hit you. Now you got the feel of failure going on, and now you're back where you started for the most part. You done did some work, you couldn't adapt, and now you're back where you started, and now you sort of mentally got to start again. You need that push, that motivation, just to get started again. Eventually, you shouldn't have to need that push. We all need a push and motivation, don't get me wrong. But your mindset should not be in a negative manner. Like, it should be so hard to think negative about your situation to the point where you're waking up every day, you're positive, you're motivated, you know it's going to work out. You're going from one step to the next, and you're building your building blocks, and you're crushing it. You're crushing it. And when you start crushing it, it doesn't stop there. It does not stop there. Your goals keep going, you keep pushing yourself, and you keep moving up. So when you reach your goals, do not stop there. Don't stop there. Don't stop there. Keep going. And it always happens that way. Keep going. Once you have a goal, you keep going. Once I have that studio for this podcast, no telling what's going to happen. My videos will get better. My audio will get better. My marketing will get better. Everything will just get better. I will get better as a person. I'm not a professional podcaster. I'm doing this because I want to, not because I have to. So I know things will get better. So I know it'll get better for you as well. So if you're listening to this, I hope I was able to help you out. I hope I gave you a little push. Anybody can set a goal, and anybody can make that goal happen. And I'm going to leave it right there, guys. I thank you guys for listening to my podcast. If you can follow me on Instagram at Mike Lana. You can follow me on YouTube. You can watch this podcast on YouTube at Mike Lana. Just put in at Mike Lana, or just type in Mike Lana. You'll find my channel. You can listen to this podcast on Apple, iTunes, Iheart Radio, and Spotify. So you can listen to this podcast over and over and over and over again until you are motivated to start your goal if you haven't started yet, until you are motivated to continue your goal if you came into a road bump, and if you are motivated to just continue your goal, I want to motivate you to continue. Just keep going. Don't stop. It's the only way up. The only way is up from here. But I want to thank you guys. Make sure you follow me. Make sure you subscribe. If you like this podcast, please follow me on this podcast on all the networks. Whatever network you listen to podcasts on, follow me. Stay tuned for the next one. We're going to dive into some more positive vibes only. And so you guys have a blessed day. And stay tuned, baby. All right.